Children are naturally creative, and their imagination knows no limits. It's time for a curriculum that can keep up with them. Help children grow a faith that's as big as their imagination with our new curriculum, Cokesbury Kids Big Faith. Based on the Bible stories kids love, Big Faith offers hands-on activities, accessible, imaginative themes, and faith formation experiences that are meaningful to children's everyday lives. Their favorite Bible stories are brought to life through opportunities to explore, play, and reflect on their learning. Animated videos feature real-life scenarios that help kids apply Scripture to their everyday lives. Designed to be a flexible curriculum for any experience level, Big Faith is perfect for churches of any size. It's available in 2 age levels, ages 3 to 6 and ages 7 to 12, ensuring the right fit for your children's ministry. Extremely volunteer-friendly, Big Faith requires minimal setup. Each lesson comes with clear instructions and all the necessary resources, including activity sheets, leader guides, activity stickers, a class pack, and a DVD. Is it time to change up your children's curriculum? Head over to cokesburykids.com to find out more and how to order it. Together we can encourage Big Faith. Cokesbury Kids Big Faith, where children's imagination meets their faith.
Welcome everyone. My name is Megan Teagarden, and we are so glad that you are here today to join us for a Q&A for our new curriculum that is releasing in fall of 2024. Many of you may already have it in hand, but we are so excited to bring you Big Faith this fall, and we are so excited to be able to be here today to answer your questions. As mentioned, my name is Megan Teagarden. I'm joined by my colleague, Selena Cunningham, and together we are the Cokesbury Kids team leads. And along with leading the team and working with the team at Cokesbury Kids, we are the primary editors of the Big Faith curriculum. Together, we have almost 30 years of ministry and education experience, and we have thoroughly enjoyed working on this program, and so we're very excited to bring it to you today. A little housekeeping before we get started. If you have a question at any point, you can always put that in the chat. We're going to talk about Big Faith for a little bit before we dive in to questions, so if you want to wait and put your questions in at the end, you can do that, or if you'd like to put them as they come to you, you can do that as well. Our team backstage will be able to share those questions with us, but we will talk through Big Faith. We'll have ready to show you some of the resources that go along with the curriculum, and then we will answer some questions that you have. Sam, if we could go to the next couple slides, that would be great. We can keep going to the 4th one, I believe. All right, so we are here today to talk about Big Faith, and I'm going to turn it over to Selena to get us started.
So Big Faith was based on a few elements that we wanted to make sure was part of the curriculum. The first is fun. We want to make sure that we engage children with fun themes that connect faith and play.
Another component of Big Faith is adventure. We wanted to make sure that kids were able to approach the Bible with a sense of adventure, of learning, not just in learning, but in connecting with Bible story characters.
We also wanted to make sure that we engaged children with their imagination. We wanted to make sure that they were able to connect imagination and stories of their faith through the Bible.
The next thing we incorporated was trusted theology. We know that many of you choose Cokesbury curriculum because you trust our theology, and that, of course, is a characteristic of Big Faith as well. It contains the trusted, grace-based Wesleyan theology that many of you know and love and look for when you're trying to purchase a children's curriculum.
And last but not least, home and heart connection. We want children to develop a faith that encourages spiritual growth in every aspect of their lives.
The next thing we want to talk about is what is included in Big Faith, the different resources that are available for purchase. So the primary resource would be your leader guide. This is now available in 2 age levels, and I think Selena's going to show on screen some of what the resources look like if you don't have them yet. So we have 2 leader guides. She's holding up the 7 through 12. It's also available in ages 3 to 6. With the leader guide, you will also have a class pack that you can purchase. This contains posters and resources to help you teach, which we'll talk about a little bit later. There are also activity sheets that are written into each session. If you are a Celebrate Wonder user, you may remember that these activity sheets were optional and supplemental. Now with Big Faith, they are written into the lesson, so you'll definitely want to look at getting those for your kids. And along with those activity sheets, we have stickers, which is kind of a fun way for kids to track what they're learning in the lesson. It is also a way that you can track attendance if you're not looking at using a traditional attendance chart. And then finally, as with all our curriculum, we have videos that go with each lesson. They are available on a DVD. You may also purchase them digitally as a digital download. And if you are an Amplify subscriber, those videos will be available on Amplify.
So the scope and sequence for Big Faith is available for download at Cokesbury Kids Big Faith. Cokesburykids.com/Big Faith. And if you want to go there, you can download a copy of it. You can also download a sample lesson. You'll find sample lessons for both the 3 to 6 and the 7 to 12 there. And we will actually go through the 7 to 12 lesson a little bit later. So you may want to go ahead and do that for later on. But to give you a little bit of an idea about the scope and sequence, it is divided into a traditional 4-season scope and sequence with fall, winter, spring, and summer. It has fun themes that we hope help children connect with their faith, such as in fall, Masterpiece, which is an art theme. And all of the lessons within that unit show how God is creative and deal with art. And then in the spring, we have Seeds of Faith, which is all about growing your faith in Jesus. And all of the stories in that unit connect to faith in Jesus and our Jesus stories.
So we know that many of you are, when you're looking at a new kids curriculum, you a lot of thought into it and consideration, and you're probably wondering, what's in the lesson? What am I going to teach? What will my kids learn when they come to my children's ministry program? So we wanted to get into some of the specifics of what is included in Big Faith. As Selena mentioned, each unit of Big Faith is a fun, imaginative themes that helps children connect their faith to their everyday lives. And how do we do that? So we have written in several components, we call them components of Big Faith, that we believe will help children make faith connections that will last and stay with them. One of the components is the Big Faith idea, and the next one is a faith focus, and we also do that through a Bible story and a memory verse. And we're going to talk more specifically about each one of those things.
So the Big Faith idea. The Big Faith idea is an overarching ideology that is important to the life as a Christian. The 4 ideas will be repeated during each year of Big Faith. So every fall, we will focus on faith in God. So in fall, we will be focusing on stories that help children get to know the character of God. In winter, we will focus on faith and community. So most of the stories that you will hear during that time, including traditional Advent stories and seasonal things that occur, will deal with developing your faith and community. In spring, we will talk about faith in Jesus. So you will still have Lent and all of that. And our focus will be primarily on Jesus stories. And in summer, we focus on faith in action. And so at this point, we will focus on how we live out our faith in our everyday lives.
So the next component is the faith focus. The faith focus focus is a simple statement that helps children hone in on a characteristic of God, of Jesus, of their faith, or of their faith community traditions. So each unit has a different faith focus. As Selena mentioned, within those big faith ideas, for example, in fall, all of the faith focuses will be sentences that describe a characteristic of God. So included on the screen, we've provided one example of the faith focus from year one. If you have your materials, or if you've downloaded the scope and sequence or the samples, you might be able to see some of these other faith focuses. But some examples are: God provides for our need, we worship God together in different ways, Jesus helps us grow in our faith, and the Holy Spirit empowers us. Just like we give kids memory verses from the Bible to help them learn about God and learn about their faith, we wanted to take it one step further and give them simple sentences that they can remember what they're learning when they come to your children's ministry programs.
So if you're familiar with Cokesbury curriculum, we do typically have a memory verse for each unit, and Big Faith also includes that, as Megan mentioned. Our memory verses in Big Faith were chosen to help connect with the Bible stories and relate the theme and faith focus. And on screen, you'll see an example of one of our Bible verse posters. So you see there the story of the widow with the jars of oil. And our Bible verse in that particular unit is, "The Lord bless you and protect you," from Numbers.
So you might be wondering, how will I teach all of these? And as we've mentioned, we will get into a lesson so you can see how it all flows together. But we wanted to take a moment to let you know that all of these three things that we just talked about, the big faith idea, the faith focus, and the Bible verse, are included in your class pack. So there are beautiful posters that help you anchor those ideas to your kids when you're teaching. You can place them in your rooms so that they remember them. So you'll really want to look at getting that class pack to help you teach those ideas. And then obviously each leader guide will contain prompts and activities that bring you back to these components, or there might be words and phrases that you say to help come back to those components of Big Faith. Also, with the class pack, we wanted to mention that there are two versions available this year. There is a digital version of the class pack that we're calling the Class Pack Plus. So if you have multiple classrooms that you need to provide more than one poster for, you can get the digital Class Pack Plus. If you're interested in maybe perhaps displaying the posters digitally rather than printed, you could also look at the digital Class Pack Plus. And the reason it is called a plus is because it also includes the Bible story art from this program. So we're very excited about bringing you the art. We've also been able to have more than one art piece commissioned for each story. In our curriculum in the past, we've had just one piece of art commissioned per story. But for this program, we have more than one for the stories. And so if you purchase the digital Class Pack Plus, you will have access to all of that artwork in a digital way. And if you have questions about that, we can talk more about that in the Q&A section. But we did want to make sure that you knew about the difference between those two.
Okay, so if you already happen to have Big Faith materials in hand, or if you went to the website earlier and downloaded a sample leader guide lesson, we're going to walk through the basic pieces of those lessons. So if you will turn to that, you'll see, if you have the sample or a book, on the first page, and we're just going to kind of go through what each page contains. You will have at the top your basic information for the lesson. So you'll have the unit title. So the first sample that we shared is called Masterpiece. And you'll have your faith focus there and the Bible verse. And then you'll have a section called Grow in Faith. And this is always where you're going to find your kind of Bible background information. So you'll see there the title of the lesson and then the scripture reference for the story. And a feature that's a little bit different from past curriculum is that you have this bulleted list that gives you some ideas for talking about the Bible story with your particular group. So they are age level specific talking points for those groups. So the 3 to 6 will be different from the 7 to 12. And you also have your traditional supplies list on the front page that gives you an idea of everything that you would need if you did everything in the lesson, but you don't have to. Everything is pick and choose, but you have a convenient list there. Then at the bottom, you have a session outline. The session outline, you'll see there are bold headings for sections that occur in every lesson. So those are Come Together, Fun with Faith, Faith Connections, and Share Your Faith. And underneath all of those, you'll see the specific activities. Some of them, which we'll talk about in just a moment, occur in every lesson, but you'll also see the lesson specific activity titles. So for example, under Fun with Faith, you'll see nature painting. And you'll also see in parentheses that it says this is an art activity. That's just a quick reference for you to make sure that you have an idea of what each activity is in the session. And then if you go to the next page, you have Come Together. And here we've called this section Prepare to Learn. This is kind of where you will tell the children what today's session is about. You'll notice that the activity sheet stickers that we mentioned earlier are utilized in this session, or this section, excuse me. This is where you'll use that. And then if you scroll down to the middle of the page, you'll have Faith Focus. And this is where the age levels differ a little bit. So if you're teaching the older age level, this will be primarily discussion. So mostly just talking to the children about the faith focus and all of that there. If you are teaching a younger group, you will have the black and white repro page, which is in the leader guide. So each leader guide session has a black and white repro. And that is featured in this part of the lesson for the younger group. It's in a different part, which we'll get to in a moment for the older group. At the bottom, you will see that for the older group, this is where they're going to use their activity sheet. Anytime you see that under supplies, you know that that's going to be utilized there. And so they will do the color activity sheet in this section of the session. And then on the next page, we have Faith Connections, which is, again, one of those sections that we'll always have in each leader guide session. And here is where you'll read the story. And again, this is featuring the CEB Bible. If you're familiar with our curriculum, we usually use CEB Kids Bibles or CEB Storybook Bibles. So you will read the story here and then follow that with the video. And usually there's a question for discussion after the video. And then you have the faith response section. And here you will have the Bible verse poster featured. And you will also have some discussion around the faith focus. Excuse me, the faith response. And one note about the faith response poster. This is a poster where we usually have the kids respond to a discussion question about the story, and they'll add something to the poster. If you're looking at the sample, you'll notice that they're doing that using sticky notes so that you can kind of conveniently reuse that poster. And then on the next page, we have Fun with Faith. And this is primarily those activities that you can kind of pick and choose. They vary per session. It could be art, it could be games, it could be any number of things depending on the particular lesson. but you see there, one of them is an art activity in this sample. And then you'll notice follow the days of creation. So in this case, in the older session, this is what I was talking about earlier. This is where they will do the black and white repro that is in the leader guide, which I will show you in just a moment. Or, excuse me, you'll see in just a moment if you're scrolling through the lesson with me. After that, we have another activity that is specific to the lesson. And I'll add that all of these activities in Fun with Faith are pick and choose. You do not have to do all of them. You can do what works in your context. And then finally, we have Share Your Faith. And this is kind of our closing section where you will talk about what the children learned today, and you will say a prayer, a blessing, and send home the the family faith letter with each child. We do have those featured in the leader guide, one per unit with Big Faith. And of course, you'll send home any activities that they've worked on. And then last, in every session, you have a black and white repro page, which is basically a worksheet. If you're looking at the 7 to 12 sample from the website or in your book, in this case, it's sort of a labyrinth maze, but it will vary each time depending on the story that we're teaching. And that is basically what you will find in a lesson. Again, there are just slight variations in the 7 to 12 and the 3 to 6 session, but please feel free to ask any questions that you may have later on in the Q&A section about that.
Thanks, Selena. And I will mention too that obviously this goes without saying, but the activities in each session are obviously age appropriate. So in the 3 to 6, you're going to find activities that are appropriate for that age group. The 7 to 12, you will find activities appropriate to that age group. The next thing we would like to do is to show you a sample video. And this is also available on our website at cokesburykids.com/bigfaith. If you'd like to go back and look at it later, or show it to others, your volunteers or other people in your ministry, but we wanted to give you an idea of what one of the videos of the program looks like. We, as we've been mentioning throughout today, the goal of Big Faith is to help children connect their faith to their everyday lives. And so you'll see in the video, everyday kids in everyday scenarios going through things, and then they happen to encounter a Bible story along the way that relates to what they're going through in their life. So we would love for you to watch with us Session 1, God Creates the Earth.
It's really dark in here. It's kind of creepy. I've never been to this part of the church before. Are you sure this is the right place?
This is the room Miss Tucker said we could use. There must be a light switch somewhere.
I found it. Let there be light.
Wow, look at all this stuff. This is a big mess.
Yeah, but look at all the cool stuff in here.
I see it. But before we can use any of it, we're gonna have to clean up. Hey, do you want to help? Our pastor asked us to make a banner for the sanctuary.
So we asked Miss Tucker if there was a room with art supplies.
She said we can use this room. It's an old art supply room down in the basement. It hasn't been used in a while.
Let's get started.
Wait, maybe we should back up and begin at the beginning. I'm Madison, but my friends call me Maddie.
And I'm Jaden, but you can call me Jay. I love to create things. Maddie and I are going to create a banner that tells the story of creation.
I want it to be a masterpiece.
Me too. But you know, God's creation is the true masterpiece. Let's find the story. I wonder if there's a Bible in here somewhere. It's the first chapter in the Bible, Genesis 1.
In the beginning, the very beginning, there was nothing. The earth had no shape or form. It was dark. God spoke into the darkness. God said, "Let there be light." And light appeared. God saw that the light was good. Then God separated the light from the darkness. God called the light day and the darkness night. It was the first day. God spoke again. God said, "Let there be sky." And the sky appeared. It was the second day.
All right, we may be having sorry about that, guys. You can see that full video at bigfaith.com, or I'm sorry, cokesburykids.com/bigfaith. I think we're having a little bit of technical difficulties right now showing the whole video. But as you can see, it starts with a life application or a real world scenario. In that case, we had Jaden and Maddie in their church in the basement trying to put together an art piece. And then it transitions to the Bible story. You got to see a little bit of the Bible art there. And then at the end of the Bible story, it usually comes back to the kids in their real life scenario where they make a connection to their faith. So as Selena mentioned, there is a video for every session. And then after you show the video, there are opportunities. There are actually questions that are included at the end of the video that you can pause and share with your kids. And then you'll also find some discussion questions in your leader guide as well. Again, we apologize for the technical difficulties, but if you would like to see the whole video, you can go to cokesburykids.com/bigfaith and scroll down to the free samples. Anybody, our Cokesbury Kids team in the chat, if I'm wrong on that, please correct me. It's possible that the full video is not available there, but last time I checked it was. So we're going to move now to our Q&A section. So I'm going to let Selena transition us to that and answer the first question. So if you have a question, go ahead and put it in the chat.
So I'm waiting for that first question there. I think it popped up, but then it disappeared. Okay, so here we are. So is there a Big Faith Bible? Actually, Big Faith was designed so that you can use your favorite CEB Kids Bible or CEB Storybook Bible. So that means that if you already have Celebrate Wonder Bibles, or if you have the Deep Blue Bibles, then you could use that with this program.
And then we're ready for the next question, Sam, whenever you're ready. All right. Does Big Faith require a lot of supplies? This is a great question. We have really tried hard to make sure that each session includes supplies that you would naturally already have in your children's ministry programs. This includes like paper, pencils, crayons, markers, scissors. Every once in a while, you might find an out of the ordinary supply like flower seeds or something like that. But all of the supplies, we try to make sure that they are easy to find, cheap to acquire, or something that you might already have or could have donated. And as Selena mentioned, all of the activities are pick and choose. So if you see an activity and you don't have the supplies for it, you obviously can skip that activity, or you can modify it and not use the supplies that you have and use something different.
So the next question is, will there be trivia videos with Big Faith? The answer is yes. For those of you who liked our trivia videos with other programs, Big Faith does feature a trivia video for each session in addition to the regular session animated video.
All right, our next question is, what is the difference between the activity sheets and the reproducible page in the leader guide? The primary difference is the fact that the activity sheets are printed in full color and the reproducible pages in the leader guide are black and white. They are designed to be copied. Obviously, you only have one. So within the leader guide, you have permission to copy those pages for however many kids you have. The activity sheets are one per student, and they are printed in color. And I'll show mine again right here. So they are printed in color. Oftentimes, it's something that the kids can cut out or glue something onto. So it's just a more colorful, fun activity page. And as we mentioned, they are one per student. And I'll go ahead and answer this one too, Selena, since I was talking about the activity.
Okay, sure.
They can be torn out, so each page is perforated. So if you don't want to give your kid the whole book and remember, like have them remember their book every week or keep it somewhere, you can tear each page out. Some of them you might want to tear out because they have a front and back, or they're going to be cutting the pages. So they are perforated for your convenience.
So the next question we have is why 2 age levels? Primarily because we heard from many customers that they were using a model where they started in one big group and then they divided into 2 age level groups with older children in one group and younger children in another. So Big Faith was designed to have options for both those age levels. However, both age level leader guides and the activities within them are adaptable. So if you find that you have more of one age level than the other, you could possibly adapt your activities for the difference in your group.
So related to that, we had a lot of people ask, how do I use Big Faith in an all ages classroom? Obviously, when you're deciding this, you have to decide what's best for you and your context. But we recommend buying a leader guide that best matches the majority of the kids in your group. So if your group leans more in the elementary age, we would recommend getting the 7 through 12 leader guide. If your group is more in the preschool age, we would recommend getting the 3 to 6 leader guide and resources that go along with it. Obviously, the class pack and the class pack and the videos go with both age levels, but you would just have to make a decision on what you wanted to do based on how many kids are in your group. Obviously, if you're in an all ages room, depending on yourself who is leading or your volunteer that's leading that group, they may be comfortable using 2 different leader guides. So of course the option is there to get both of them, and you can pick and choose what you want to do with each group. But while we do have 2 age levels, as we've been putting this curriculum together, we do think that in a one-room scenario, if you had a few, if you had primarily elementary kids with a few preschoolers, they would be able to participate in a lot of the activities. And obviously you would be able to make adaptations along the way. We should also mention, this is a great time to mention that if you are looking for something that is specifically one room written towards an all ages classroom or a one room model, we will be offering Celebrate Wonder as a digital bundle. So those of you who are familiar with and have loved Celebrate Wonder know that that was transitioned to a all ages one room model during the pandemic, and that has been our primary curriculum for the past 3 years. We want to continue to offer that. So even though we will no longer be printing it, you will be able to purchase it and download it from cokesburykids.com. And we'll talk more about where you can find that at the end. But Celebrate Wonder will be available if you want something that is specifically designed to be all ages. Selena, are you good to answer the next one?
Sure. Well, with Celebrate Wonder, some of the promotional materials kind of came along as we went along. We do have the family faith letter in each leader guide that can be sent home to share with the families, and it will tell the families kind of what we're doing and why, and give them an idea of what their child is learning, and also offer some ideas for family activities at home.
And we are currently discussing the social media component. We're hoping that it will be included with this, but we've had some changes in our team structure. And so we're not quite sure if we'll be able to offer all of the social media components that we offered with Celebrate Wonder. But when you do purchase your leader guide, there will be a link included. If you purchase the physical leader guide, the link is included in your book in the front material. Let me see if I can find the page. But it's also, if you purchase the digital leader guide, you will have additional files that are included in your leader guide purchase. So anything extra promotional materials, such as the social media files, will be included in that leader guide. We also will have the event guides. Some of you may remember the event guides that we had in Celebrate Wonder. Those will also be included in the digital files of the leader guide. There will be one per quarter. So with your fall leader guide, you should have a fall event. With your winter one, you'll have an Advent event. And if you do have a physical book, it's on page 6 is where you can find the link to those digital files.
Megan, I'll go ahead and take that one, or start it, and you can jump in if you'd like. So essentially, Celebrate Wonder, if you recall, is an all ages curriculum. And the biggest difference is that Big Faith has 2 different age levels. Part of the reason for the change is we've been doing Celebrate Wonder for a number of years now. We're kind of in a point where we've exhausted the scope and sequence with that program, and we wanted to offer something new and fresh to our customers.
I'll also add that as a company, you'll see kind of our methods and who we are as a company are apparent in each curriculum that we develop. So if you go back to Deep Blue, if you go back to Grow, Proclaim, Serve, you'll see things that are similar. And that's just because they're things that as a Cokesbury Kids team, we believe belong in each curriculum, and it is how we design our curriculum. Is there a music component? There is not a music component written into this program. However, we always recommend, if you are VBS users, you know that we have several years of VBS programs with awesome music. Our music that goes along with VBS, we've started including Bible story songs, so songs that help teach the Bible stories or teach the concepts that are being learned that day and the Bible story. So I do think you could look through some of our VBS music and find music that really matches what we're trying to teach in Big Faith. It is not out of the realm of possibility that we would include music in the future, but we just aren't able to do that at this time. And Sam, we're ready for another question if we have some more. Not quite sure if we have more questions coming in. Sorry about that, everyone. We might be having some technical difficulties backstage again. All right, so this will be our final question for the day. If we didn't get to your question, please continue to put them in the chat. We can have people on our team address that. But this last question for today, what should I purchase since Big Faith is not sold in a kit? So as we mentioned before, one of the questions had to do with the fact that we are moving from Celebrate Wonder to Big Faith. If you were a Celebrate Wonder customer, you may know that you were able to purchase a kit and it was one product, one price, and you got everything you need. So this is going to be a little bit different with Big Faith, but you should be able to get all of the things that you need like you did in the kit with Celebrate Wonder. So we recommend purchasing a leader guide. Again, it's up to you whether you get the 3 to 6, the 7 to 12, or both. We do recommend one leader guide per leader, but if you have multiple leaders, then the digital leader guide might be an explore as well. But I know that a lot of volunteers like having the printed book in hand, so you'll definitely want to get that. We also recommend getting the class pack so that you can have those beautiful posters and visual aids that go along with the lesson. And then obviously the video is a huge component, so you'll want to get a DVD or look at purchasing the digital videos or showing the videos via your Amplify subscription. And then you will want to get an activity sheet, one per child. This is the primary difference where your costs might go up from getting. We did add these as an optional product with Celebrate Wonder in the last year, and people loved them. So we are continuing them, but they are one per kid, so your costs will go up with that. If you wanted to start the year and see how it goes without getting the activity sheets, you could do that, but we definitely think that they add a lot. We think the kids will love the stickers. We didn't fully explain them, so I'll do that really quick. In the back of the activity sheets, there is a sticker page. You'll see these kind of circles. And so I don't have the stickers with me, but Selena does. But the stickers are circles, and there's one per lesson. And so the kids have the opportunity to put the sticker on the session. And it's an image that helps remind them of the lesson. This is something where you could tear this out and post it in the room, keep it for your kids that come back week to week. You could also use it in a variety of ways too. If you have a bunch of kids that don't attend regularly, you could simply give them the sticker for that day that goes with the lesson. So you have your leader guide, you have your videos, and you have your class pack. I would say those are the core resources that you definitely want to purchase. And then additional resources would be the activity sheets and stickers, which again are included in this and really add a lot. But if you wanted to skip over them and needed to save money, that could be a place where you could do that. So that is all the time that we have for today. We really appreciate everyone coming on and asking questions and being interested in Big Faith. There have been several links put in the chat, so definitely look at that. Everything you need to make a decision about Big Faith, if you have not purchased it yet, can be found at cokesburykids.com/Big Faith. There you'll see all of the different resources and samples that are available to help you make a decision about Big Faith. If you're interested in looking at the Celebrate Wonder bundles, those can also be found on cokesburykids.com. You can go to cokesburykids.com/curriculum and see all of the different curriculums that we sell. And our Celebrate Wonder bundles are live on there, so you can look at those. And then if you are interested in learning more about Amplify Media, if you're not an Amplify Media subscriber yet, you can go to amplifymedia.com and see our different price levels for that. There are a lot of great resources on Amplify that you might want to look at. We have an entire Cokesbury Kids channel where you'll not only find the videos, but you'll find videos from our previous programs. So when you subscribe to Amplify Media, you really get a lot of content for your money. And then finally, if you have additional questions or would like to discuss anything with the Cokesbury Kids team, you can send us an email at kids@cokesburykids.com. And again, I know I said a lot of web addresses and email addresses, so those will be in the chat. And cokesburykids.com is a great place to find everything. If you fill out a form on there too, that will come to our email. So we hope you have a wonderful day. We wish you blessings and good luck in all of your ministry programs that you're doing. And we thank you for being a Cokesbury Kids customer.